Oh, hi, Internet. So, tonight I wanted to talk to you all about Kylie Jenner and Tyga, which, if you don't know, Kylie Jenner, who is 17 years old, she's still a minor, is dating the rapper Tyga, spelled Tyga, and he recently sort of confirmed the rumor, but they've been rumored to be dating for months and months and months. Um, and everyone's kind of known it for a while, but there hasn't been a whole lot of talk from Kylie or Tyga about their supposed romantic relationship. Um, and I wanted to talk about it because I think that it's really important that we view this relationship kind of for what it is, which is problematic, exploitative, and you could even possibly say abusive. LJ of the channel A Journey East, who I watch on YouTube, made a video about this, and that kind of inspired me to share my own thoughts and experiences because she had dated older guys when she was a teenager, and I sort of did the same thing. And so I have a lot of experience being somebody like Kylie's age and being into guys who actually were in their 30s, who were older than Tyga and had way more of an age difference than Kylie and Tyga do. So I wanted to just say that, you know, hindsight is 2020. And when you're young and you're dating an older guy, it doesn't feel necessarily like you're being exploited or like there's a power imbalance, but there is. And once you get older and once you have more experience and have more maturity, you realize that somebody who wants to date someone who's that much younger than them has issues. And that's putting it mildly, I think, because when I think about myself, I'm only 20 years old right now. And when I think about the possibility of dating somebody who's 15 or 16, even 17 or 18, I am just so repulsed by that thought and just can't even imagine dating somebody who is still in high school. I mean, it's amazing the differences of maturity and that happen because like it or not, our society is set up in a certain way so that when you are under 18 you're not an adult, and it is illegal to have sex with people when you're an adult and they are not an adult, and the law can be a little bit fuzzy, and unfortunately these kind of things aren't really investigated by the police unless someone complains. And that is actually an exact quote from a TMZ article on this piece. They actually asked police for comment, and they said they weren't going to look into the matter unless someone complained, and no one has complained yet, and they're probably not going to. So it's not something that even our law enforcement takes that seriously. They can know what's going on and not care. And it is a real problem because there is just such a power imbalance and just such a difference in the maturity. And it's not okay to date somebody who is that young, because when you're the older person, you do have more power. And a lot of that is just structural stuff, like when you're older, you typically are making more money, you're probably more established, versus somebody in high school who still lives with their parents and, just works a part-time job and doesn't really have anything. You know what I mean? Like there's even a difference there in terms of the power equity that exists between you. And it's important to remember that stuff. And I am really disturbed by Tyga and Kylie, and I want more people to be disturbed, and I want her parents to be disturbed, and I just don't think it's okay on any level, and especially because Tyga has a child. He has a young child with Black China, who I believe she's some sort of model now. She used to be a stripper, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but yeah. So having a child, I think it makes it a whole nother level of insane, basically. You know what I mean? Especially if you're that old and you have a child with someone, why are you interested in like 17-year-old girls? You know what I mean? It's just not good for anybody. And I actually want to read you a little passage. I wrote this article for the Huffington Post last summer, and it's called My Secret. I was one of those girls who had sex with older men on the internet. And the title kind of reveals what the piece is about. But you always kind of hear these stories about girls who are young and, who meet guys, not only in chat rooms anymore, but like back in the day, like we used chat rooms, and that kind of story is always kind of told as like this young girl, is just the victim, and it's always an older guy, or it's like somebody who's pretending to be a young girl or whatever. It's just like really told, I feel like, in this specific narrative, and it's like we're supposed to pity the girl and be like, oh, she's so naive and whatever. And again, I'm not saying that it's right, but I feel like the way that we paint the victims or the girls who are doing these kinds of things isn't really accurate. And I know for me personally, when I was talking to older guys on the internet and I was 14 years old, there was a reason for it. And the reason was that I had experienced some trauma that was of a sexual nature, and I basically repressed it and was looking for an outlet. And this became the outlet, you know what I mean? So it spoke to some greater issues. It wasn't like I just randomly decided, like, let's go and do this, And I feel like in a lot of cases, this is probably true. And there's probably a lot going on that people should be, investigating the underlying causes, not just like the surface level issue. So again, I'm going to read you a little bit of this post, and trigger warning, this post does contain depictions of sexualized violence. So if you need to take care of yourself and not listen to this part of the video, please don't. So here we go. Here's something I don't talk about very often. I am a survivor of some pretty fucked up cyber sexual relations. The story? I was 14 when I bought my first laptop with my own money. I was lonely, depressed, suffering from an eating disorder, and was recovering from incest. I needed a reason to wake up in the morning. Older men on the internet gave me that reason. I fell into this trap and couldn't escape. I became obsessed. Having cyber sex with older men made me feel powerful, untouchable, and fuckable at the same time. Hot, sexy, desired, worthy. It gave me a boost of self-esteem like nothing else ever had. No, I never ran away to have a sleepover with any of them, but it didn't make any of it better. It was incredibly painful, raw, and real. I loved, I cried, I laughed. My parents found out after about 6 months of this, and I was in a sort of relationship with a 20-year-old who lived 2 states over. Yes, we'd exchanged nudes. Yes, we had cyber and phone sex. Yes, I really did love him. They treated me like a prisoner. It was as if I was a rebel who needed to be tamed. Clearly, there was something wrong with me, and I was just acting out. Take away the computer, the men, the cell phone, and my privacy, and problem solved, right? Wrong. So wrong. So you can go over to HuffPo and search for me. I'll link the post below if you want to read the rest of it. But that gives you a little bit of a picture of what I'm talking about here. So yeah, PSA to Tyga, please stop fucking underage girls. Like now. So yeah, and also tell me if you have thoughts about this in the comments below. Kisses.